Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the 3DO Experience, the 3DO retrospective podcast where we talk about the 3DO company, the console, and everything in between. I'm Bill, and this is Thrak. How you doing, Thrak?
Oh, hello, Bill. I am doing just grand. It was snowing today, but it's not warm enough to stick to the ground. So nothing crazy, and it's about to turn to the 50s, I think, around here. But it's going all right. I started Infinite Wealth, like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, having a great time with it. I'm in chapter.
Nice.
I'm probably gonna be in chapter 3 for a while because it's when the map opens up,
Yep.
and then that's when you can explore and do all that fun stuff. But I'm all committed. I missed Ichiban. So how are you
Yeah.
doing?
I'm doing pretty good. I started my yearly playthrough of Persona 4 recently.
Yeah, I saw that.
I got through the opening, and then I was like, that drained the hell out of me. Come back to it later.
I feel like it's clockwork for you at this point.
That's the thing. It's like at this point now, I just understand that opening. That opening is like the one flaw in what I consider a near perfect game. Because its opening is the opening for 4 is just so slow, and like especially when you've already done it like god like 13 times now at this point.
It doesn't seem
um
that slow to me.
I don't know, like to me it's like it takes a while before you get into the first battle. I feel like you got into like fights like a lot quicker in like 3 and 5.
But my issue with 5 is that the first 10 hours are just holding your hand. You know,
Yeah.
like you can't take more than a couple steps without like a prompt coming up for like a menu or something. And by the time you do all that, you do the first dungeon, right? And then the map opens up. I immediately was like, Jesus Christ, there's so fucking much to do. And I know how Persona operates with you can only do like one thing.
Yeah.
So it just overwhelmed my senses. But 4 doesn't overwhelm my senses because it's big, but it's not that big.
4 is actually the smallest of the 3, believe it or not.
I'll take your word for it.
Because 3 is pretty big, like in terms of size. Like 4, they really kind of, I think a lot of it had to do with budget constraints because 4 had a much smaller budget than 3, apparently. But
Yeah.
4 is really just Inaba. I mean, they added more for Golden, like they added a few extra areas, but for the most part, 4 is not the biggest map out there. The dungeons are pretty are where most of the size is.
Oh yeah, all that procedurally generated stuff,
Yeah.
which is all good. Persona 4, like the intro may be a little bit on the slow side, but once you're in, you're in. Like
Oh yeah.
after that, like I think it's what, like 2 hours or something, and
Once
then
you
you're
get to Yukiko's dungeon, it picks up
oh
right from
yeah,
there.
then you go right, yeah, then you cruising,
Well, because
and
by then
you don't even have the mopeds yet, and you're cruising.
the, the
I
the
I love
mopeds.
I love that scene where you get the mopeds, and then Kanji's like, "Hey, let's go down to the mall and try to pick up chicks," and it just totally doesn't work, and it's so funny.
Yeah, that was one of the added scenes for Golden. That's not in the original.
So good, so good. And yeah, it's fitting since Persona 3 remake is coming out soon. Which
Yeah,
which which lends me to ask, I'm curious. Do you think they'll ever remake Persona 4 in this style?
if 3 does well enough, I don't see why not.
Okay.
It would seem weird to have it be like the one that's not in that style.
True. Especially because 4 is very popular.
Yeah. Now, if they remade Vanilla 4 and not Golden, I'd find that really confusing just because Golden's just better in every way.
I don't think they would. It's like how when people talk about Persona 5 these days, they're probably referring to Royal, but they don't
Yeah.
say it. And when people say Persona 4, you just assume they're referring to Golden, not base Persona 4.
Yeah. There's not a lot of people that have, most of the people that have played 4 at this point have never actually played Vanilla 4.
I've never touched it.
I mean, it's basically the same game. It's just missing a lot of stuff that they added in the combat system's not as refined.
Yeah. Yeah, like I'm sure if I got it for like PS2 and played it or played it on my PS2 emulator or whatever, it's like yeah, it feels like the same game, just doesn't at the same time.
There's like it's missing stuff, and then 2 of the voice actors are different.
Which ones?
Chie and Teddy.
Hmm. I can't
Yeah,
imagine those voices being different.
yeah. Erin Fitzgerald wasn't Chie. She's been Chie in everything except the original game, and then Teddy was I forget who Chie's original actress was, but Teddy was originally David Wittenberg, who's done a ton of stuff over the years.
Yeah,
He's most famously, he's a Kakashi in Naruto. So
nice.
imagine Kakashi as Teddy.
A never-ending supply of bear puns.
Yeah.
And
I think
then
Sam Riegel's probably. Oh, go on.
No, please.
I think Sam Riegel's the more iconic Teddy voice at this point.
That's what I think of when I think of Teddy. And then Chie's voice actor, like she does not take a fucking chill pill at all. But that's just kind
No.
of Chie in general. Way too much energy.
Yeah. Other than that, like all the VAs are basically the same. Well, other than Kanji, basically all of Kanji's bonus scenes were redone by so Troy Baker, I think, got married during the production of 4, so he had to step away, and I think like most of the bonus scenes were done by Matt Mercer, who was just replacement Troy Baker for most things.
I couldn't tell a difference.
Yeah, they're very similar sounding voices.
Cool.
Yeah, but
yeah, Persona 4 is a good game.
Yeah, that's my favorite. So.
You are the Persona guy. I am not.
Yeah, people tell me that sometimes. Yeah, other than that though, I've mostly just been hanging out, collecting some manga.
Yeah, I still have some manga to read. Well, because right now I'm still working through this guy, Last Ronin.
Nice.
I'm as you can see, I'm on like issue 4 of 5, so I'm almost there. And then after that, I need to start Vagabond. And then after that, I'm gonna do Slam Dunk, and then Berserk 2, Deluxe 2. So nice. I got a nice reading backlog to go through. So because I did listen to you and Alex talk about the manga collecting.
Yeah, it's weird how like she was like, other than like One Piece, she really wasn't into collecting manga, and then now she's suddenly like going crazy for it.
Speaking of One Piece, aren't those 3-in-1s like not good? Like the quality of them?
3-in-1s in general aren't particularly great. Especially the Viz ones, like they tend to be like cheaper paper quality. Now but those
I would say because audio listeners, I am holding the Viz Big for Vagabond Volume 1, and I gotta say it's fairly nice.
So the Viz Bigs, so there's 2 types of 3-in-1s. There's the standard 3-in-1s, which are the same size as like standard like singles.
Yeah.
The Viz Bigs were a very short-lived series of books that they did for a while there, where they were basically they're double the size, much better paper quality, thicker covers, tons of bonus art like that.
That's just the opening of Volume 1.
Oh yeah, like they have tons of like color pages and stuff.
And I love the spine for the Vagabonds, because apparently they all connect together, and it's like a row of all the main characters.
Yeah, the Viz Bigs always had like these nice spines. Like I have the full set of the Inuyasha ones, and they have like all sorts of like Rumiko Takahashi art on the side.
Yeah, and for being one of the more like kind of paperback ones that's kind of thin, it still feels like nice and sturdy. You know,
they are heavy too. Like they're big. Heavy
oh yeah,
things.
it's hefty. You know, it's dense. You know, like it doesn't like, feel as heavy as like the Berserk ones, but the Berserk ones are special. And that's what I like about them. When you get the deluxes, they feel very special. Even though I have no qualm about cutting the bookmarker down.
Yeah.
look. If for anybody who's going to get mad at me for that, like the Berserk deluxes, I cut it. It's like, look, it's really long. I don't want to tuck it into another page. I literally just trim it down to where I can just flip it in and then flip it out. It's my copy. Who the fuck cares, right?
Yeah.
It's me. Okay. I still enjoy I still enjoy them. So
I was laughing because Alex recently, she picked up a manga, one of the few other Viz Big series that they did, Fishuji Yugi, I think it's called. He picked up that entire series. It's like 6 volumes in total, six Viz Bigs in total. And she's like holding them all. She's like, "Holy fuck, these things are heavy." And I'm like, "Yes, they are."
Yeah, it reminds me. I've been thinking about getting all 6 of the Akira manga, but I'm like, I haven't seen that movie since I was like a kid, so I need to sit down and watch it again, and if I remember liking it, then I will go and read them all. So,
The manga is apparently mega different. So
well, from what I'm told, the movie is a little bit of the first volume and a little bit of the last one, but they
yeah,
just kind of like they kind of rush through it.
yeah. And the
So,
ending apparently is completely original to the anime because it's like that that abomination at the end there.
yeah, yeah. And I didn't think I would be ever getting single volumes, but I did get volume 1 of Slam Dunk.
Nice.
Harder to find than I anticipated.
It's
The cool
out
because
of
when I go ahead.
I think it's an out of print series at the moment.
Okay, because when I went on like eBay to find it, most people were just selling all 31 volumes in one set. I
Yeah.
think it's 31 volumes, and I'm like, I don't want to buy all 31 volumes of a series I don't even know if I'm gonna like.
Hmm.
You know, that seems like a waste. Even if it's cheaper, it's like, well, then we have to sell them all, and I don't want to do that. So I bought the one. I'm just gonna buy them one at a time. What I love is that Slam Dunk and Vagabond. It's the same guy.
Yeah, I
The
know, right?
same dude did the manga that made basketball a thing in Japan. And then when he was done, he's like, I want to do an epic samurai tale that'll never end because I may die before it's finished, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So, Inoue, I believe.
It's always funny to me, like some of those, like
Yeah,
the
Takehiko Inoue.
yeah, those sports mangas to me are always interesting because like they have like their huge fans. Like Alex in particular, she loves Haikyuu, which is the volleyball manga.
Yeah, I've heard of that one.
She's obsessed with it, and I don't get it, but more power to her.
I mean, I'm curious to this one because it's like basketball, you know?
Supposedly it's acclaimed. I've
Oh,
never
yeah,
read
it's
it
great.
personally, but
31 volumes. It's been done for a long time. I was curious to like if the anime was worth it, and apparently the anime trims the story like pretty heavily. So like fans
yeah,
of the manga aren't big fans of the anime. So I decided to skip on it and
it's
just
an
read it.
old it's an older one. Like a lot of those
Yeah.
older animes cut so much out.
I think it came out when the manga was a thing, like
Yeah,
still being done.
that's probably why. Like I know like a bunch of series would do stuff like that. Like Rurouni Kenshin, the 96 anime, only covers like the first two major arcs and then like doesn't cover any of the rest instead and just did filler for a season.
The manga went from October of 1990 to June of 96,
Hmm.
and the anime went from October 93 to March 96. So that's probably why.
Yeah,
And it has a lot of episodes, but I feel like it might just be one I'm better off reading.
probably. It's not like a Yu Yu Hakusho where like the anime is pretty much spot on for the most part.
I'm told there are differences, but not a huge amount. Like the manga's a lot darker, and
Yeah,
there are some things they go more. I think they go more in detail about why Hiei cannot admit to, I forget her name, his sister. Why like they're not
Yukina.
Yukina. Like I think it goes more in detail about why he can't, because the anime just kind of mentions it and then just kind of moves on.
I think
But
Keiko's more present in the manga as well because she kind of gets pushed to the side for most of the anime.
yeah, because in the tournament arc, she's like in the audience,
Did you
like
get to the?
commenting.
Are you still in the middle of the Dark Tournament or?
I am on episode 39.
Okay, there's a famous GIF from the Dark Tournament saga that involves Keiko that's pretty hilarious. I'm not going to spoil it though because I'd rather you see it for yourself.
Hold on. Let me just
It's
look up the
something.
GIF. Let me just look up the GIF if it shows up.
Just look up Keiko Dark Tournament saga and you'll probably find the one.
It's probably one that like I've seen. You know what I mean?
It involves Keiko and Yosuke. That's not Yusuke. That's all I'll say.
Uh, not seeing a thing, or at least nothing that's like sticking out to me. Um, hmm. Yeah, I'm not seeing a thing. It's just like shots of her in the audience and huh.
Um. All right. So for later,
Right.
I put it's in our Discord server under the GIF space.
Oh, you sent it?
Yeah, I just stuck it in there.
Let's see. Do. Oh, I've never seen that. Yeah.
No, yeah, it makes a lot more. It makes sense in context, but when you first
Oh,
see
I'm
it,
sure.
you're like, what the fuck?
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. I mean, to be fair, there's been a couple things in this show that have made me go, ooh, 90s. Mm,
Yeah,
mm, oh boy.
90s and like slapstick, Japan anime slapstick. It's very interesting.
It wasn't even that. I think it was like the episode. I think it was like the weird like break episode in the Dark Tournament, like before they start fighting. I think.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's the one. Oh yeah, because like the one where it's like they imply that that one person's like a trans woman.
yeah,
That was that was kind of gross. I got to admit, that was kind of gross.
yeah. Japan is very behind on a lot of things, and that in particular is one thing they're still very behind on.
Yeah, I mean, it was 1990, 94. I think everybody was behind on it then. You
Yeah,
know, it doesn't necessarily excuse it, but
no,
it's
it's just
one of those things. It's like oof, but they don't lay it on thick. It just once it's gone, and they just kind of keep going. So
yeah,
they don't labor it, you know.
yeah.
But
Honestly,
yeah, I got a nice backlog of manga here. So, and I did get Berserk Volume 2, and I'm very excited to get back into Guts's world.
yeah. That's honestly one of my favorite things about like on Reddit. There's a whole like subreddit for manga collectors, and I love it when they show their full collections because you'll get that one like Berserk fan who has like their full set of Berserk manga, and you'll look at them real quick and you'll realize for really quickly you're like, those are all still wrapped, and it's like, read your damn manga, don't just put it on the shelf.
I mean, they're giving the Miura estate money, so
Yeah, it's just always funny to me. It's like I'd get like if like the first couple were unwrapped to symbolize your reading, and you're just waiting till you get to them to unwrap them. But when it's like all of them, it's like read your books. Don't just put them on the shelf and
that
stare at them.
yeah, that's why I don't like buying whole sets of things because it's just because then you just stare at that commitment so much, and then it just kind of like weighs on you. Where it's better to just buy one at a time. You know, like I'll buy this one, I'll read it, and then when I'm done, I'll move on to the next one. You know,
Yeah,
like when I read Golden Compass, you know, and then I was like, I should probably read the other two, and then the other day I bought number two. So, and I will be starting to read that soon as well. You know, I got word and picture books. Okay, I can do
yeah.
both. I can do both. And question for you, you can cut this out if you want, but when you're talking about the high school manga thing, was your reading list all manga?
No, I didn't get into manga until like years after I graduated high school.
Okay. So your example wasn't a real life one.
No, no, no. That was my problem with school was just like I didn't like the way English teachers would like restrict you to only certain books and like they would like kind of like I don't know, I wasn't a fan of just the way that they handled English class a lot of times. They were very particular about certain things and like you had to
Only read the classics.
only it was either only the classics or like you were restricted to like this one obscure book. I didn't like the fact that they wouldn't let you just pick your own books and like
I can
read
understand that.
because there was a lot of occasions where it's like you'd get a book and you're just like, I don't want to read this at all. Like there's just
Oh yeah.
nothing. Like I understand why some people like Shakespeare, but I could never get into Shakespeare.
I like Shakespeare.
It's I mean, I see the appeal. It's one of those things where it's like I'd read and I didn't get it.
Yeah.
But
Well, at least with Shakespeare, he wrote so much and he has such a wide variety of work. There's probably something he did you'd like. I'm sure of it. Like
probably.
I love Merchant in Venice. That's great. Um Hamlet's pretty good, you know, especially when Disney remade it as The Lion King. And Macbeth is a classic, of course.
Hmm.
Couldn't get into Romeo and Juliet. I mean, I remember in high school, like poking the holes in it, you know, just like
Yeah.
I don't like. I kind of get why that one is stuck around. You know, there's the power in the great love story, but it's not really a love story though. Like even my high school English teacher, when we read that, she was pointing out like all the things that make it not really a love story, but more of just like a power struggle and like more of like themes of like teenage rebellion and things like that, which are much more accurate.
Hmm.
So I don't know. But we're not here to talk fucking Shakespeare here.
Nah. We're here to talk about the 3DO and
Do you think Shakespeare would like the 3DO?
I don't think he'd understand the 3DO. Like I think he'd see like he'd see the disk drive shoot out, and he could probably get scared of it. Honestly.
Wouldn't blame him.
But yeah, for this episode though, we're taking a bit of actually before we get into the episode, that we should probably announce the poll.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that backfired on us.
Yeah, speaking of basketballs.
Yeah, so we ran our poll for the next game we'll be covering next week, and we were going to do a fighting game this time. And of course, I had to put a joke entry on there, and of course, everyone voted for the joke entry. So
thanks, guys.
So we'll be playing Balls 3D next week.
Director's cut. Balls director's cut. Let's get it right. Okay.
The definitive edition of Balls.
Yes. I did not have my balls when we ordered this, so I went to eBay and I ordered a copy of Balls. So it'll be, let's see, according to this, I'll be getting it within the next day or two. Nice. So I'll have to put down Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth to play this fucking game for you people. All right.
If you get past the opening title screen and you don't immediately turn it off.
Oh, please. I would be shocked if it was that bad, that it would, like, I've seen some fucked up shit, okay? Like I've scrolled through Live Leak, okay? and oh god.
The opening title screen is amazing and awful at the same time. It's wonderful.
Yes, it basically, when I'm playing it, I'm going to have off to the side actual pornography. So if somebody walks in on me, it'll be so much easier to explain.
Yeah, right. But yeah, so that'll be next week. You know, I was really excited there at the start because like Samurai Showdown took a really early lead, and then Aaron came in with like balls, and then it just fucking was downhill from there.
Aaron put his balls on our face. Thanks, man.
Yeah, he voted for balls, and then suddenly everyone voted for balls, and I was like, it's not stopping. It's like we're done. We're done.
Balls are inevitable.
Yeah. But we'll get to the other three games eventually.
Speaking of Aaron on Twitter, I just saw him saying, in case you needed more proof that God doesn't exist, here's a Hell's Kitchen game on DS. And I'm like, I totally forgot. I remember the PC version where it looks like they tried to make like a fake version of Gordon Ramsay, but like his forehead melted. Yep. So he looks fucked up. In fact, that kind of looks like him on the DS cover, the one I'm thinking of.
That doesn't surprise me. I mean, the DS has some like legendarily awful licensed games. Like, I mean, it's got Cory in the House on it. I mean, everyone knows about that one.
My favorite anime.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, well, and you know, Hell's Kitchen, Gordon Ramsay was really popping off in the late 2000s, early 2010s. So
yeah, before he just became a meme.
Yeah, and most people are like, you know, he's not really all that.
No, he's just really entertaining to watch. That's like really.
Yeah, and weirdly, whenever I see him, like when people are interviewing him, they always ask him about making burgers, and I'm like, is that his specialty? Like, I didn't think it was. I don't know. I will say I love his show. Was it Kitchen's Nightmare, where he goes to like where he goes to like restaurants that are just terrible and he tries to like fix them and everything. That show's amazing. I love that one because it shows the incompetence of small business owners.
Yeah. There was a point in
I kind of hate small business owners, but that's a whole nother podcast.
There was kind of a point where like I would binge between that and then the bar version, Bar Rescue on Spike, which is another really entertaining show where a guy yells at people.
We enjoy it so much, don't we?
It's just entertaining. It's like it's really fascinating to watch.
It is. We enjoy watching other people suffer.
My favorite is when you watch MasterChef and Gordon's like the nice guy as opposed to that other dickhead.
Oh yeah. I forget his name. Someone will tell us.
Yeah, I only know of him because I saw an edit where someone just photoshopped the Craftsman logo on his head. I was like, I get it.
That's nice. That's very nice.
Yeah, but so for the topic of this episode, we've already killed 25 minutes, but that's fine. we're actually going to be comparing the 3DOs, particularly the Panasonic variations of the console, which in many ways are pretty much the only ones that really matter.
Yeah.
No offense to any Gold Star owners out there.
No. All the offense. I'm offending all of them.
The only Gold Star 3DO owner I actually know is Casey from he guest appeared on the third episode of the show before we the reboot.
Yeah.
And he was a Gold Star owner apparently, and he told me that it was broken all the time. So
he owned a paperweight that said 3DO on it.
yeah, I'm sure we'll have Casey on again at some point because he's like one of the other 3DO fans out there. But
oh yes. Hi, Casey. We've never met, but hi.
The the Panasonics though, there were two variations. We've mentioned them quite a bit on this podcast because I've had the FZ-1 for most of the shows running, and Thrax had the FZ-10.
Yes.
And for this episode, because we're doing video now, I figured I got her. Might as well bring her out here.
Look at that. Look at that VHS, everybody.
Yeah.
Or VCR. Actually, sorry, VCR.
VCR. It actually kind of looks like a Nintendo 64 DD.
Yeah. That's a good point. Like with the towers and the corner and everything. Yeah.
It's got this really nice.
Do you think it was influenced by it?
I think it predates it, to be honest.
Oh, the DD was, when did that come out? Like 98?
Yeah, and the
never came out here, and it was a massive failure.
Yep. This was 93.
Yeah, so maybe Nintendo looked at the 3DO and were like, that's not a bad design.
It's really not, to be honest. It's a pretty attractive looking console in a lot
of ways. Yeah. It's 90s, but not in a dated way. It's 90s. It's like retro, which I think is the word for something that's old, but it's cool. Retro, you know?
Yeah, like this thing is a tank too. Like the big thing about the FZ-1s were they were very like well made. Like it's got this really nice shiny matte finish on the top of it. You got the Panasonic logo like etched in there.
Oh yeah,
with the reel. The weirdest thing about it is the power cord is hardwired in.
Yeah, I still don't understand that.
It must have just been a manufacturing thing that they kind of went with. The only downside with that is that occasionally you'll get them where they're clipped, and if they're clipped, fixing them is kind of hard.
I just thought of this. It might have been because they wanted to maybe build the power transformer right into the system, which probably adds to the overall size of the system. And they didn't want those like giant bricks that like the NES and the Genesis and the Super Nintendo had. So they were trying to get around that. But they were like, the only way we could do it with potentially the technology we had was to hardwire it in. Because I don't know if figure 8 cords were around at this point, which are like the standard nowadays. Like even surprisingly, my Xbox Series X just has that just a figure 8 cord for the power, you know. But that is a pretty bulky system. But it's nice that they it's kind of big, but I'm glad they were able to build that power transformer right in there. So if that cord breaks, it's an easy fix. But with that guy,
that guy.
It's not going to work.
You're kind of screwed if you don't have the power cable. Interestingly, too.
Yeah, we got the traditional AVs on there, but the one that interests me and that I had a little bit of history with is that S-Video in the back.
And they're proprietary too, so you can use any cables you find.
Oh yes.
Or I mean, they're non-proprietary, I should say.
Yes, because the Model 1 Sega Genesis has S-Video as well. But I could not find those cables. So I tried buying a set off of eBay that was that and plugged them in. They didn't work. And I explained it, like I took pictures of it, sent it to the whole eBay seller. They sent me another pair for free, literally the exact same problem. So I don't know if it was the cords or if it was my system itself's S-Video broken. But unfortunately, I was not able to test that. But have you had better experience with the S-Video?
So I don't currently have a TV that can use S-Video.
Well, you can get S-Video and you can output it to AV.
Yeah, I'll have to find a solution for that because I don't have a currently an option. One thing though that I did try just for shits and giggles is it also has an RF, and I really
Yes.
was curious what the RF looked like.
I mean, it was that era.
It don't look good. That's all I'll say.
RF never looked good.
No.
Never. Like
Um.
that's not something like people are getting nostalgic about like the old CRTs and everything, but they're not plugging RF into that fucker. No, they're going for
No.
the AV cables, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I remember back in the day, we used to have like when I had the NES and Genesis, we had the RFs screwed into the back, you know. Fuzzy picture, man.
Hmm.
You don't miss it.
And then the one other thing back here that I find interesting is there's an expansion port that I believe there was like a memory expansion. I think there was something for to play video CDs that you could also plug in there.
Maybe you plug it in and it gives you access to the memory manager.
Yeah. No, there's a disc for that.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But then
That makes more sense.
the other thing that I find really interesting is it has another expansion port just on the side
That was never used.
that I doubt was ever used.
Yeah. That was going to be for the 32X add-on.
Yeah.
So you could play Colibri on it.
Yeah. Other than that, though, it's a pretty big, beefy system. Very, pretty standard. You got your power and your eject buttons, your single lone controller port, and your automated disk drive, which the elastic bands wear out pretty quick, unfortunately.
Well, doesn't the button eject it?
It does. It sticks sometimes, though.
Because I had that issue with we had the Model 1 Sega CD,
Yes.
and that thing famously does not have an open close tray. So dealing with that was a pain in the ass. Weirdly enough, it still works. I've tested it; it still works. But it was the tray itself, like maybe like something sticky got into it or whatever. It would get stuck all the time. But
Yeah.
eventually, I figured it out and it opened, so I could play. What was it Prize Fighter?
Yeah.
Yeah, if
Yeah,
you know that game.
these early disk drives tend to wear out, unfortunately. Like the one downside to the FC-1 nowadays is they have the best build quality, but their disk drives are tend to be the most faulty.
Yeah, it was like early CD disk drive era, especially with like the motorized disk trays. And
Yes.
yeah, just especially for gaming when you're going to be opening and closing that thing all the fucking time, you know, it just it just wasn't cut out for it. Like there's a reason, say the Sega CD when they went to the Model 2, they did the pop open tray
Yes.
because that handles wear and tear so much more.
Exactly. And before we move on to the Model 2 3DO, I should say one other thing that the FC-1 has as an advantage is it has a higher RAM memory output,
Yes.
which is very important when playing a game like, say, Road Rash, where, as Thrak has learned, Road Rash doesn't play the music on an FC-10.
When you're playing the game, it's in the
Yes.
menus. But when you're playing the game, all you get is either the sound of the motorcycle or nothing. Or like, you know, when you hit cars or like vehicle sound effects or whatever. But I didn't want to hear the whole time, so I turned it off.
Yeah, it's like, I guess because the later models have less memory, they're not able to stream the music from the system's sound hardware in game.
Yes.
Something like that. It's just one minor downside to the FC-10 that
I
the
mean,
FC-1 has
yeah,
above it.
well, that's kind of an issue when you don't have a standardized hardware specification for manufacturers so that these things don't happen. Because clearly this game was made for the FC-1, as I imagine the entire 3DO library was made with the FC-1 in mind.
The FC-1 has the highest compatibility.
Exactly. So it makes sense that they would shoot for that, you know. But if that's the only sacrifice I get on Road Rash, it's perfect. It's fine. It's not that big a deal.
Yes.
You know, I can just pop up Soundgarden on my Spotify account and listen to that instead.
So the only other difference I mean, aside from the lack of a memory manager, which we joke about every episode, the only other real difference with the FC-1 is its startup is ironically the most iconic 3DO startup, and that is the one with like the space and like the asteroid field.
Yeah.
Ironically, that startup only happens when you don't have a disc inserted. Like that's just the idle screen when you have no disc in the console.
Mm-hmm.
Because once you put a disc in, it immediately goes to the 3DO logo and then just starts up the game.
Yep. That's just like the FC-10. Well, when you put a disc in, though.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, speaking of the FC-10,
there he is. Old Faithful.
I've had this one for about a month now.
Mm-hmm. The top loader, as we like to call it. That's a very popular term in the video game world, isn't it?
Yeah.
The NES top loader, the 3DO top loader, the Sega CD top loader.
PlayStation 2 Slim, it was a top loader.
That it was.
And my favorite, the PS3 Super Slim with its weird slidey thing.
Yeah, it's like a patio door.
It's one of the weirdest ones, but hey, they were nice little PS3s. So.
Yeah, it was cute. It was cute.
But yeah, this guy is interesting. Like, there's no button or mechanical thing. It's actually a little pop door there, which is kind of cool.
And the weird thing is that like tactile, like pushing the holder down and opening it up, it still feels good to this day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, mine's down there, and there's a mess of wires back there, so I'm not going to unhook it, unfortunately.
I brought mine just because I figured that would have been a pain in the ass, and I don't keep my consoles plugged in when I'm not using them. So
yeah, I keep them plugged in. But Bill, where is the power button on that guy?
So the power button is interesting. It's on the side,
on the back, back left fucking corner, and it's like one of those. Like that has a technical name for it, that kind of like flip switch or whatever. But
yeah,
you know, yeah, I mean it's chunky, you know, and
it feels good. It's not bad.
Yeah, it's just annoying. Just the placement of it is not the kindest. Like it'd be better if it was right up in front. You know, like if you wanted to keep it on the side but have it up front.
I actually thought these were the buttons originally over here, but no, these are just the power and load light
or access. Is that what it says? Yeah. Yeah,
ready
I don't know why.
Like my favorite, ready and access.
Yeah, like the Sega CDs were the exact same, and it's like, why the hell are you calling them access? You know, I different times, I guess. I guess they didn't want to. Maybe they were worried about loading or something.
Maybe.
I don't know.
I will say, in terms of look, I do like the look of the FC-10. It's got a very video gamey look to it.
It looks like an AI generated video game console.
To a degree, yes. I like the look of it though. Like I like the reel on top, like with the colors. It pops out more than the one on the FC-1 did.
Yeah,
you got your Panasonic FC-10 there. Its front profile is just smooth.
What year did this version come out?
So believe it or not, this came out literally 1 year after the original.
So 94?
Yes.
Okay, because
mid 94, I want to say.
Okay, because to me, it looks like it's taking some influence from the PlayStation 1 and Sega Saturn.
I think it was, to be honest.
Because if you put that model next to the original PS1 and the Saturn, like it fits right in with them. Like it blends in. Like whereas I think the FC-1 model would stick out.
The FC-1 looks like legitimately looks like a VCR. Like
yes,
we joke about it, and it's kind of why it's why most people like the thing. Is it's got its old classic look to it, like vintage look, I guess you could say.
Vintage, yes.
This, on the other hand, looks like a video game console. Like
very
you see
standard,
this and you think video game.
Exactly.
What I find interesting though is they kept the one controller port, and it just looks so odd on this one, just there.
It's like the alignment of it's kind of weird, but I feel like no matter where you put it, it was going to be kind of weird.
I think the fact that there's nothing else on the front just makes it look weird.
Yeah, makes it look kind of sad.
Like I was thinking kind of like the Sega Master System had its power button like down on this side, like that would have made sense, but no, it's on the side over here.
Yeah, so. like the Master System's also a weirdly designed console Like it's
Yeah,
almost like trapezoid kind of style, and that the pause button's on the console itself and everything. But
yeah.
I've thought about buying a OG Master System and collecting games for it just because it looks like a fun one to do. But
I actually have a broken one chilling over there.
what's
Don't
do
get
you
me
know what's wrong with it?
the controller port's broken.
Oh,
Up and down don't work. Only left
what?
and right.
Well, that is not good at all.
And then on the other side here, we got another expansion port.
Yeah, though they were determined to use that for nothing.
Yeah, and this one's not easy to open, so I'm not even going to bother.
Nope.
And then on the back, the big key thing here, removable
Yes.
power supply.
Yes.
Well, not power supply. The power supply is still inside.
Yes. It's still the that's not really the figure eight style, but it's like close enough to it, I think.
It's
So
the same power cord as the PlayStation 1, the Saturn, the Dreamcast, and the PS2.
Okay, yeah.
And I think maybe the OG Xbox. I'd have to double check on that one.
I've never had an OG Xbox, so I can't say.
I'd have to double check on it. I know though for a fact PS1, PS2.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I should say fat PS2, original PS1, Saturn, and Dreamcast all have the same power cord.
And if I remember the PS1 and 2, they had the power bricks.
Yes. Yeah, the PS1 had this really obnoxious wall adapter that made it a pain in the ass to plug in anywhere.
Yeah, I just remember the PS2 Slim having the power brick, which was not a terrible size, like especially compared to when I got my first 360, and the size of that power brick was fucking immense.
Yeah, at least those they had the decency to end in a traditional cord and not those fucking Sega Genesis bricks.
Yes. Oh, the bricks were such a pain in the ass, especially when you're trying to do, say, the Sega Genesis and the CD, so you needed room for two of those giant plugs.
Or imagine trying to do the CD 32X and Genesis at once.
I couldn't imagine.
I did on my Instagram, I did a video showcasing how to do it. Like I might actually put it up on the YouTube channel at some point just to show. It is a pain in the ass.
That's an easy way to put it.
Just to play Corpse Killer on Sega CD 32X.
I'm so glad you mentioned a game that's also on the 3DO.
Yes. I don't own that on 3DO, but I'm sure the 3DO version's better.
I played it on the Switch.
It's not the worst, I'll say.
It's not the best either.
No, but I mean, at least I think when me and Alex did our FMV games episode, we commented that it was the one that we actually got somewhere in. Because double switch, we couldn't get past the first screen. So.
Yeah. If I remember Corpse Killer, I got to the final boss, and I literally couldn't beat him because the enemies were coming way too fast. I could not hit the button fast enough to kill them.
Yeah.
So it felt like it was unbeatable. I don't know if it is or not, but I couldn't do it.
The only other one that I got anywhere in was Ground Zero Texas until I accidentally killed a civilian and then the guy punched me in the face. That was the end of the game.
I kind of like that one.
Yeah, it was fun until a civilian jumped in front of my reticle and I killed them and then I got punched in the face. It was great.
It's a shame all of those games didn't get a like a Wii port. As I conveniently have behind me because I was too lazy to replug the 3DO back in.
Yeah, that's understandable. But going back to this guy on the back, it's pretty much the same as the FZ-1. You got your AV, your S video, and one expansion port and an RF.
Yep.
And you can use any cords because the 3DOs were very nice like that.
Oh yes. And getting like spare AV cords it's so easy to do these days.
Yes. So if you ever buy a 3DO, as long as they say it works and it has, at least for the FZ-10 anyways, as long as they say it works and it comes with a controller, you're pretty much good because you can get the cables from anywhere now.
Yep.
An FZ-1, if it says it doesn't have the power cord, I'd be skeptical. Let's just say.
Yeah, because then it sounds like they don't know what they have. You
Yeah.
know?
Or if it says it has a power cord included, I also am skeptical. Basically, if they don't show pictures of the thing, I'm usually skeptical.
Yeah. And what's interesting is that nowadays, if you're trying to find a 3DO, mostly you're going to find the Japanese versions of them.
Hmm.
So it must have been they just made like just a shit ton of those, you know?
This is by far the most common 3DO, the FZ-10.
Oh, yeah.
Um, they're also so build quality wise, they're not bad, but they do feel noticeably cheaper than the FZ-1s. But I think the
Mm-hmm.
FZ-1s are just overbuilt.
Oh, yeah. And
Um,
those are the ones that were $700 when they came out.
yes,
Whereas I
yes,
think by the time they got to the FC-10s, they had lowered the price drastically.
I believe it was $299.
Yeah.
They had dropped it down to, so the same as the PlayStation, but I'm not 100% sure on that. Yeah, there isn't really a price that they give for the FC-10 in particular. Yeah, it's unclear, honestly.
We'll never know.
Yeah, we only know apparently the price of the FC-1 was reduced to $399 though by the end of 94.
Yeah, and if I remember, it was pretty quickly after, pretty quickly after the 3DO came out that retailers were selling it for less than 600, 700 because they
Yeah,
knew nobody was going to buy it at that price.
unfortunately, and they weren't selling it all. Pretty much doomed it from the start.
Yep. Yep, a doodle, sir.
Um, Other than that, though, the main difference hardware wise between the two is the FC-10 has a menu
Yes, it does.
and you can
A
access the
very
memory.
a very rudimentary menu, one that is reminiscent of looking through files of like a Windows 95 machine before Windows 95 was a thing. But it is there. So, and it's nice to have the memory manager, especially when we did the Incredible Machine.
Mhm.
And the only way you can get back to the older puzzles, as far as I know, is completely deleting your memory and starting from scratch. So,
Yeah, if you play
which
on
I
an
did.
FC-1, you're basically fucked. It's like
Yeah.
you got to grab your 3DO game guru to go delete some files.
Oh, thank God. So are we going to talk about Gold Star?
Um, we can, but before that, I'd like to mention though the one feature that they both have that's identical to me and is the best part about them is by far the music player.
Ah, yes, yes. The good old music player. The visualizer, as
It's
they
one of
like
the
to say.
best. It's one of the best visualizers I think a console's ever had.
Yeah, yeah. Like, did the Saturn have one? I can't remember.
The Saturn's it's boring.
Okay, because I remember that menu, you know,
So the
and I always liked messing around in that menu.
so I believe the Sega CD had a music player. It was incredibly boring, but it did have one.
Yeah, it wasn't just like the logo floated around a bunch.
No, it was just it was like just this like little graphic of a like CD player that just popped up and that was it.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
The PlayStation had one, but it was boring as well. The Saturn's was boring. I think the only yeah, I think the 3DO was like one of the first ones that really had an interesting one.
Mm-hmm.
The Jaguar CD was also pretty interesting from what I've heard,
I,
but finding a
I,
Jaguar CD that works,
that's pretty tough, man.
yeah.
All to play what, that Highlander game?
Um, Blue Lightning, I guess. I
blue,
guess
what the fuck is Blue Lightning?
it's a jet. It's kind of like Afterburner.
Let's see, how many Jaguar CD games were there?
Not a lot. There was Iron
Thir-
Soldier 2.
13. We got Baldies. Hell yeah. Battle Morph, Blue Lightning, as you had said, some like combat flight thing. Brain Dead 13, which is also on 3DO. Dragon's Lair. Do you got Dragon's Lair?
That's also on 3DO.
Yeah, Highlander, The Last of the McClouds, Hover Strike, Unconquered Lands, Iron Soldier 2, Mist was on everything, Primal Rage, Space Ace, which was on everything, Vid Grid, and World Tour Racing. The fuck? I gotta check out Vid Grid.
And I believe half of
That
those
is a name.
were also regular cartridges.
Yeah, I think so.
Because I know for a fact Iron Soldier 2 also was on cartridge.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Battle Morph was.
Now, Battle Morph is actually a sequel to Cybermorph.
Oh, thank God.
Where did you learn to fly? Yeah. But yeah, so going back to the 3DO though, awesome music player. It's basically the 3DO logo and it like does like this wavy pattern.
Oh yeah, because I think I sent a video of to you once that I was listening to some Beach House on my 3DO through the visualizer, and yeah, 2010's like Dream Pop looks great or sounds great connected to that thing. So
It just
that's a
looks
that's a
super
good
cool.
choice.
Also,
Yeah.
like you could switch it up. Like you have the wavy 3DO logo pattern. You could also change it over to like this really trippy psychedelic shit.
Oh yeah.
And then my favorite was the 3DO wave pattern was psychedelic shit because you could just switch over to that one.
Yeah, it is pretty neat. You know, it's like an effect that kind of stuck with as CD. Excuse me, as music visualizers got much more complex. In fact, I have no idea if Windows 11 even has one.
I have no idea, to be honest. I haven't played a CD on my computer in forever.
Well, what CDs have or what computers have a CD drive these days?
That is true. I have this one right here that I bought.
Oh, nice. What, like a USB one?
It's a USB DVD CD player, but it also has a speaker built into it, so you can use it as a standalone CD player.
Well, that's not a bad idea.
I'll give it a shot at some point.
See, looking at the media player, I'm not seeing any visualizer options.
That's a bummer.
Yeah. To be fair, it never really. I don't think it ever really caught on. You know, like they were doing it for a while, but I don't. As far as I know, it was never anything people kind of gravitated towards. It was just like a little cute gimmick thing.
Well, back in the day, it was kind of like you'd have a party and like you'd have music playing, and you just put that up on the TV screen, and then that would just be kind of your background for the party.
Yeah, I guess. I didn't have that many parties, so
Yeah, understandable. I guess we can talk about the Gold Star a little bit. I don't have one, so it's not going to be as easy to compare.
I don't either, but as I was perusing eBay, I found a picture of the front of the box for the Gold Star. Let me send that to you. It is oof. Oh boy.
Yeah, it's not the most. If it's the one I'm thinking of, it's not the most attractive. Yeah.
Oh, where is that guy these days? What is he doing?
He looks like he's on a lot of drugs in that photo.
Yeah, he's high. He's high on gaming.
For anyone who's interested.
Yeah. Yeah, just go to eBay, type in like 3DO, and you'll probably see it. Like somebody selling the whole thing in that box. So $300 for the whole thing.
It might work.
He says it works.
So the thing with Gold Stars to me is like they also look like VCRs, but somehow they don't have that vintage look like the 3DO does. They just look
lame.
And
they look
dated.
Lame as hell.
Apparently, they're incredibly faulty, from what I've read.
That's what I've heard as well.
And they feel cheap.
They kind of look cheap.
They have that controller is hilarious. Like I've shown it off a few times. It's gargantuan for no reason.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
But apparently, it's playable. I guess. Yeah. Here's the good old Gold Star for anyone interested. That looks like something you'd see on like your parents' like media console, like one of those like CD changer things.
It looks like the VCR your grandparents would have.
Yeah. And I believe they had compatibility issues. Like that was their biggest like downfall.
Yeah.
It was also the Sanyo. I kind of like the look of the Sanyo, but these things are apparently incredibly rare.
It looks like when a piece of paper gets wet.
Yeah, it's got the wavy ridge tops and then that
Yeah,
3DO just etched into the top of it.
which is a cool idea. Like it looks cool, but yeah, those are the hardest to find.
They were
So
only released in Japan, and apparently they only had a limited amount made.
yeah, because the CDI or not the CDI, the 3DO had a bit of a cult following in Japan.
Yeah, it was interesting. But I think the problem was you could find so many more gold stars, though.
Yeah,
I
probably,
mean, not a gold
and
stars,
FC10s.
FC-10s.
Because yeah, if you go to eBay, you'll most likely, if you buy a 3DO off of eBay, it's most likely a FC10 from Japan.
Yes. Um, you know what's funny? You know where the gold stars were very popular?
Korea,
Korea, because
because Gold Star is
now known as LG, and that's a Korean company.
exactly the Koreans are taking over
But
LG,
also,
Samsung,
kind of
Kim
a
Jong
meta.
Un.
Yeah, not that Korea.
It's Korea. Okay.
Um, interestingly, Panasonic is the current owner of Sanyo nowadays, so
Yeah.
that's a little interesting parallel.
They probably bought them because of the 3DO.
Maybe it's hard to say. And
That's my head canon, unless somebody corrects me.
the only other officially released 3DO that is around, and this is the hardest one to find, is the Creative Blaster, which
Oh
was
yes,
the
the
weird
PC
PC.
expansion card thing.
Yeah, it. If you found one, I guess it's kind of cool, but it's one of those things where it's like you need like an old DOS computer to use it, so it's kind of like it's for a hardcore PC enthusiast, really.
Yeah, it's like the only people who have this are like the enthusiasts, you know?
If you want to see a good video of what one looks like, look up Lazy Game Reviews. He did a whole video explaining how the thing worked. It's pretty interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, I watched a bit of that video. It was pretty good. LGR makes really good content.
The best part of that video is when he discovered the thing was basically a capture card. So he just streamed it over over solitaire.
Good
So
man.
he was playing solitaire over Road Rash. It was just a funny parallel.
Yeah.
The big, actually, ironically, the funniest part of that review is when he's like, "Oh yeah, and the guy who lent me this also loaned me a bunch of his games." And then Lucian's Quest is just right there. I'm like son of a bitch, like the fucking one of the rarest 3DO games, just chilling right there.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he also made a video about the Gizmondo, which is pretty cool.
Gizmondo. He also did the Tap Wave Zodiac for anyone who remembers that thing.
Vaguely.
It was another failed handheld. It had a Duke Nukem on it. That's probably why he played it.
Why do all these consoles have Duke Nukem on them?
Duke Nukem was everywhere. Like in the time it took
He
to
was.
in the time it took for fucking forever to came out, they released like 12 Duke Nukem games.
They did.
Just fucking insane.
Milk the cow, right?
Well, that was just Ron Broussard not knowing how to chill the fuck out, basically.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, if anybody's curious, we'll keep recommending YouTubers. Matt McMuscles did a really good video on Duke Nukem Forever, so I'd recommend that. If you want to know what happened.
What happened?
What happened?
He also did a 3DO episode. It's all right.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, he's a little harsh on it, but I mean,
most people are, and I get
it. We're just weirdly biased towards it.
That's a way to put it.
I'm looking at you, Aaron, putting it in the garbage. I'm still not happy with you. I'm just kidding.
We'll force him on here.
We're gonna make him play Mahjong, damn it.
He wants to play it.
I know.
So we'll let him play it. That's the thing. We'll have him play it and then have him describe it to us.
Yeah. That'll work.
I'm not playing that fucker. You can kiss my ass.
It's got catchy music. That's really about all I can say about it.
I can listen to it on YouTube, but I need to play it for.
I love that game because I bought it thinking it was like some beat 'em up, and then I booted it up and it was Mahjong. I was like, oh, okie dokie then.
Yep.
Oh boy. But yeah, other than that though, really not much else to say about the 3DOs. I honestly recommend the FZ-10 at this point.
That's the one to go for.
I mean, if you can find an FZ-1 for cheap and you really want it, I get it, I guess, but there's a good chance its disk drive's gonna give you issues after a while. So
That's the one you get because you like how it looks.
on that, yeah. I mean, it's a nice fancy looking console.
Yeah, it looks pretty cool.
I at some point I'm gonna track down a Gold Star just to have, but I doubt a Sanyo because they're so hard to find. But
I'm happy with my FC10.
yeah,
I'm not really. I've never been a console collector. You know, like
I'm not either. I just
I have all the major variants of the Game Boy Advance, and that's kind of it for me.
yeah. I mean, I have a weird fascination with the 3DO, so that's like the
I
only one.
I swear I thought you were about to say fetish. I don't know why.
No, I'm not on that level. I'm not on that level yet.
Yeah, that's a different podcast.
That's
We
3DO.
explore Bill's fetishes. Fetishes? What's the plural of fetish? Let me know. Let us know, please.
3DO After Dark.
The the plumbers don't wear ties episode.
Among other games. Apparently, there's more games like that on the. I think the Covenant's one of them. There's some.
Oh, we'll do a whole episode on the adult games. We have to.
There's a lot of them in Japan.
Oh yeah. Jesus,
'Cause
Coven, or no, Coven, because Coven
Coven.
sounds like oven man.
Yeah.
If you know that reference, I'll give you $1. Coven sounds like oven man. There was what, endlessly, blonde, blonde justice. Jesus Christ.
I think there's like literally one called Snow Job. Like some weird shit.
Oh god, that turned me into Rich Evans. Starring Tracy Scoggins. I don't know how to pronounce that.
Oh, that's the she was in Babylon 5 of all things.
Oh yeah, God.
She was in the final season. She replaced
Babylon's 5. I have not thought about that in a long ass time.
yeah, she replaced the main female lead because she left after season 4.
Gotcha. Oh, it's a 2-disc game. What is it? Some FMV BS?
Probably.
Oh, it's probably a masterpiece then. So
I found back in the
Scourge
day.
the Seven Seas.
I passed up on him back in the day at a flea market. But there was this guy that had like a shit ton of like 3DO jewel case games, like, and he was selling them for like $5 a piece. But at the time, I was like, I wanted like other
What's
stuff.
that? 3DO. What's that?
Well, no, I had a 3DO. I think I was collecting other stuff. I think I wanted Shining the Holy Ark at the time, and that like blew all my funds out. So
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, that's a good game. So
that's an extremely underrated game.
Supermodels Go Wild. What the hell? We're gonna go wild with that one.
Eventually, we're going to start touching on the back end of the 3DO catalogs. So,
oh, we will. We have to. We have to. Like,
what's even fun?
My curiosity won't prohibit me from doing this. You know what I mean? I just have to know. I loaded up one of them. I forget which one, and I was watching it. Essentially, there's no gameplay at all, and I was just confused. You know, like the options you had back in the 90s for, you know, getting the poison out were much more limited. And
Yeah.
I feel bad for them, you know. I mean, now we live in an era where it's like the access is almost too much and it causes a lot of other issues, but again,
now
this
people
isn't
have
here for that, you know.
too easy, I guess you could say.
Yeah, like we had a nice midpoint where we had to put a little bit of work in, but you know, we got some good shit out of it.
Yeah.
At least I know I did.
Sorry, Mom.
Does she listen?
Oh yeah. I've had to explain some things I didn't want to.
I'm that friend that your mom's like, you shouldn't be hanging out with him. He's a bad influence on you.
Nah, she's she's pretty chill about it. She'll just question. She'll be like, "What does this mean?" I'm like, "You don't want to know." I'm like, "No."
Oh boy.
But yeah, so we got an hour.
Dad asked me about Snow Job, Bill.
Uh,
Uh,
I think that was a Crash Bandicoot level name. Honestly,
that's a G.I. Joe character.
yeah, that's true
Yeah,
as well. God damn, they used to hide that shit everywhere.
they did.
But yeah, so next week we're gonna cover balls. Oh, great,
How fitting. Oh god,
great.
one's called Mine Teaser with 2 Z's. What the fuck is this?
3DO is a wonderful console.
Oh god.
You know, we're gonna cover Plumbers Don't Wear Ties, and that's like considered like
That's the tip of the iceberg, man.
that's like considered the peak, and it just goes downhill from there in terms
Oh
of
god.
the shit that you'll find on 3DO.
Okay. So Snow Job wasn't one of these like adult games.
No, I must be thinking of a different game then.
Okay, because I'll figure it out. I'll figure it out. We'll figure this out. Bear with us, folks.
Yeah, but yeah, so I guess it's good enough time to end it here. But once again, guys, thanks for joining us on the 3DO experience. You can find the 3DO experience on all the major podcasting platforms. We're now available on YouTube with both an audio and video version of the podcast. That's usually actually the video is usually out a little bit before the audio is. So if you want to see us that bad, you can just check out the GNC Podcast Network YouTube channel, and it should be there. Other than that, you can find all of our links at linktree/the Barber Who Games, and you can come join the GNC Podcast Network Discord server to find all things GNC, Geek Addicts, 3DO, talk gaming, anime. There's an entire channel dedicated to water bottle propaganda. Don't ask.
Get your reusables, kids.
Yeah.
I don't care if it's that trendy ass Stanley Cup. Just get one, okay?
Yeah.
But don't buy 300 of them. Just one.
Yeah. Yeah. And with that, we will see you all later.
Bye-bye.